crossing your T's and dotting your I's on all the things that are going to get you ready to do this thing, so that you're ready for the things that are planned and the things that are spontaneous. Hey y'all, welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and today we are going to talk about the Aquarius New Moon on the evening of January 31st into the early hours of February 1st. But before we get started, I would love for us to take a couple deep breaths together. If you have been experiencing this Mercury retrograde the way that I have, then you're really feeling it. And it took me some time just to get here today, and some revving up and some deep breaths and a lot of restarts. So if you can, wherever you are, just relax, blow out all the air in your body. Start to take some deep breaths in your nose, out your mouth. Fill up your lungs in your nose. Hold it at the top and release out your mouth. So much of this Mercury retrograde, take another deep breath, has really been challenging us in obvious ways with not so obvious outcomes, or we're going into something thinking that we're totally prepared for it and there's some surprises along the way. And in general, it can just make us feel more anxious, more sensitive to what's going on around us. And so your breath is always your biggest tool to help you center and ground again. And I had to get a text message today from my partner telling me to remember to breathe. Take some deep breaths, because how easily we forget. So some good news is that Mercury goes direct on the 3rd of February. And this retrograde actually did start in Aquarius and then ended in Capricorn. And so we kind of have we're getting some dual lessons here when it relates to those energies. And this new moon in Aquarius I'm mountain time, so for us it is 10 o'clock at night, or 10:49. And so then by the time it gets to the East Coast, it will be just after midnight, or almost 1 a.m. And so it's interesting because if you are in these other time zones, Western time zones, I'm in Colorado, we're actually experiencing a black moon because it is the second new moon of the month. But it's also not the second black moon, because depending on where you are, it could also be on the early morning of the 1st. So new moons are always great for setting intentions. New moons are always one of my favorite times to do some like serious self-care rituals, like doing ritualistic baths, candles, the right music, meditating. For Aquarius, it would be even a good time to like read something that maybe you've been not reading as much as you would like. I usually do a ritual bath, and I will just Google what herbs and essential oils associate with the energy of the new moon. So this one would be Aquarius. And I just kind of do some internet research, and I anoint my bath with whatever those herbs or oils are. And I really give myself the time and space to ground and to dedicate some time to myself. So I feel like that even if you aren't doing any sort of like active manifesting, if you don't have time to sit down and like redo your vision board or do, you know, do a reading for yourself or any sort of, you know, practical action, self-care and kind of upping your self-care game is just as powerful, and it's a little easier. I feel like that's a great, it's like if you want to do something, at least do something that's gonna like really make you feel good, because any sort of action you take like that where it's dedicating more to yourself, what's the other word, not dedication, it's like a proclamation to the universe that you are valuing yourself, and it's still manifesting. It's still a manifestation tool. So let's just get into this. The Mercury retrograde shadow will go until the 24th of February, so we're still going to be experiencing some of this throughout the rest of February also. It was a long one. Sorry, guys. Okay. So today I'm using the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sturl, and all those links are attached. We'll also be using the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra Ann Taylor. So the first card's really the general energy that this moon brings for us. Let's just do it like that. So let's start with 3. I always like to start with 3. Okay. So the first one, ooh, 5 of Swords. This is actually probably a really, I wouldn't say great, but aligned card with how this energy's kind of been going recently. The nice thing about this new moon happening near the end of Mercury retrograde is that the Mercury retrograde, a lot of it happening in the sign of Aquarius, that it should have shown you some things these last couple weeks that you really don't have time for. And it's actually just made me realize full circle. I was just talking to my mom earlier just about how things are going and, you know, where things are going, what's the next step, what's the answer. And I realized that the last couple weeks have really made, even if I don't feel like I've been shown the answers of what to do or what to do next, I've been shown answers of what not to do, what I don't want in my life, what I'm not gonna tolerate, what I can't actually handle on an energetic level anymore. Okay, so with the 5 of Swords coming up, there is this this is a conflict card, and the stirring up of Mercury retrograde, and then Venus was in retrograde for a while there at the same time. These are all things to stir us up so that we don't get stagnant, or we don't get stuck in things that we're just accepting as, oh yeah, that's fine, it's fine, I'll keep taking that crap, I can put up with it because this is the payoff. Well, there should have been some things that happened that showed you that the payoff isn't worth it anymore to actually put up with the bullshit. And so this is really an energy of like cutting things off also. So really figuring out like, well, nope, that's not for me, and nope, that's not for me, and nope, that's not for me. Okay. So in making your manifestations with this Aquarius new moon, because Capricorn Aquarius energy really does come in to show us how Capricorn shows us how valuable our time is, and then Aquarius kind of helps us figure out where we're gonna, you know, Capricorn likes to let us figure out where we're going to invest, and Aquarius is a little bit more has a little bit more of the energy of the boundaries and showing us where we shouldn't be wasting our energy, or where we should be preserving it and saving it. Because Aquarius is really good about knowing when to put themselves out there or not. And usually when they put themselves out there, it's unapologetic, and they're not really concerned about what people think of them. If you are an Aquarius who's really concerned about what people think about you, I would say to start doing some sort of healing on that. And I'm looking at my chakra guide across the room now. I'm thinking like maybe start with some chakra work with that root chakra. There's a lot of kind of regrounding we've been doing since Capricorn season, and Aquarius, even though it's an air sign, is helping us solidify some things in our world before kind of dreamy Pisces comes along and we get a little looser about things. Well, we already did the work to put them in place. So this new moon, as much as you're manifesting things, you might also just be manifesting how you want your life to look or feel, and who or what that's not including, or things that you don't want in your life anymore. I know that usually letting things go is a full moon energy, but Aquarius is a weird energy. They are full of surprises. This season, this retrograde's been full of surprises. And so it's a surprise, and I'm not that surprised that we kind of are going an opposite direction here with really solidifying who's worth being around us, who's worth being around you, and who's not. The other thing about this card is there's also a cutting your losses thing. So again, which I realized I kind of touched on, was like you might have been staying in a situation because you were able to justify the means, and now it doesn't, the ends don't justify the means, or however that saying goes. It's not being justified anymore. It's time to let those things just drop away. And it's like they're gonna be dropping away anyway, so it's like the more energy you kind of put into letting things just fall away, the more the universe is gonna help you do that, and so that you don't have to have too much confrontation in there. As much as it's like a conflict card, there's not a bunch of like head-on confrontation, and the swords are an air sign, Aquarius air sign, so this is really lining up. Aquarians are not confrontational, so it is kind of just like letting things fade away from each other, okay? Or letting things drop off from you. And then it's those things that you might be holding on to that you know aren't serving you, that you need to be manifesting about, like what you might want to replace in your life, instead of focusing like I need to stop doing this. It's like, yes, but what do you want to do instead? Okay, so the second card is the why. Ooh, Page of Wands in reverse. I love the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is one of my favorite energies. It's adventurous, it's curious, they're childlike, they know how to just see the world as fun and all the shining brightness that it holds. No, no fear, just going right into it. And two directions that the Page of Wands is, that you might have heard me say before, is part of that though is a trusting, they are tenacious and passionate, and so they know how to make their own decisions and follow their own heart, but there's a trust there that they allow, where they might not know where they're going, but they know that there's going to be a couple stops on the way. They know what they kind of want to do, and where we're going is we're going to see when we get there. Or they know where they're going, but they're not sure how they're going to get there. And they're like, oh, that's when I want to go over there, but the ride there is going to be such an adventure, and we're going to get some surprises on the way, so I'm in. Either way, in. Okay? And when the Page of Wands comes up in reverse, there is a hesitation, a stall, a blockage from you taking that first step forward into, I just heard, the great unknown, into the wild, the wild, on the path less traveled. There's some things that you need to figure out before you take that step. It's like, I got, for some reason I heard repacking. It's almost like I got this analogy of packing for a trip, since we're kind of using the travel adventure analogy with our Page of Wands. It's like you're packing, you're traveling for this big, you're packing for this really big trip that you're really excited about. And it's somewhere you've never been before. It might be even in another country. And there's a difference between the person who just like bought the ticket and is like, we're gonna figure it out when we get there. You know, or bought the ticket and like, okay, I want to go to this place, and yeah, we're gonna figure out, like, I know a couple places I want to see, but you know, we're gonna figure it out. And between the person who needs to have like everything figured out, I feel like you need to have like a good happy medium between the two, and finding that space where you can have the flexibility to be impulsive when you're on your trip, when you're doing the thing. But you need, especially if it's somewhere you've never been before, you need to be doing a lot of infrastructural work to lead up to that. So when I say like what you're packing for or you're repacking for is like double checking all of your like to-do lists. Like what, especially like I'm doing a large analogy, like to like imagine you were going all the way on the other side of the world, somewhere where you've never been, like, you know, East Asia or something like that. When you go on trips like that, like, you cannot just buy a ticket and go and figure it out. There are some places we live where we can just do that. But to go to those countries, to go on these big trips, you have to have your passport. You have to have shots. You have to, you know, at least have some idea about, like, where you're going. Where are you staying? And there's definitely room to be impulsive and to change those plans. You don't have to, like, unless you absolutely have to, like, book all of your hotels, like, oh, you gotta be at this place, you gotta be at this place. Some trips you do. But this is about making sure that you are, like, crossing your T's and dotting your I's on all the things that are going to get you ready to do this thing, so that you're ready for the things that are planned and the things that are spontaneous. And that was the other word I was looking for. I kept saying impulsive, spontaneous. Impulsive, you know, impulsive can be good too. But it's like, okay, I really want to, like, do this thing and go on this journey, but I'm worried. And it's like, well, what can you do to eliminate as much worry as possible? Because there's still, when it's new things, you've never done this before, you're still going to have a little bit of fear and worry inside. I think, especially if you're really excited and you really care about it and it's new and unknown, there's still going to be this little bit of fear, but it's more like the excitement of the butterflies in your stomach. It shouldn't be like, I'm going somewhere where there's a cartel that could kidnap me. Like, you also need to do your research when you're doing big journeys like this to unknown places. You have to research. You have to research what it's like. Who are you? Are you a female traveler? Are you trying to travel alone? Like, what should you be looking out for? Are there other single female travelers you can meet up with? Like, what are the experiences of travel, of foreigners, you know, tourists in these places? The internet is right at the tip of our fingers. So that's what I get with this block of this Page of Wands in reverse, because, and also I think this new moon is going to help you shed some more dead weight, to be able to get a clear mind about what you're doing or what your next step is going to be. Because this isn't even, it's almost like, it's like they don't want you to be looking too far ahead either and like be like, I gotta get there, this has got to be the plan. This is a feeling like a step-by-step process, and this is really about getting you to these next steps, so that then you can find, like, when you're finally there, it's like smooth sailing, things can just take off. The How. Ooh, the Empress in reverse. Oh, okay, now this is starting to speak to me. This is really great too, since we were talking about self-care. The Empress is like the mother, the lunar energy, the femme energy of the tarot. She's complemented by the Emperor. And the Empress is like, she is the proverbial mother. The traditional one is actually a pregnant woman, but I actually really love this Empress because she's a queen, straight up. And so with any of these cards, well, not any of them, I'm sorry. With the way this card's showing up today, though, especially when I was talking about her being a queen, and I just noticed too, there's lemons on her dress, which I'm gonna have to look into that, because the traditional one is pomegranate. So, and because this is all about also like nurturing and abundance and like pregnancy, and pregnancy isn't just women getting pregnant. It's like the idea of being pregnant with like an idea or a dream, and the possibility of that being birthed into the world. And that really is kind of feeling like what could be happening here for you. That's kind of what's happening here for me. So with the Empress coming in reverse also, it's like you're not treating yourself enough like royalty. You're not self-caring enough. You think you're putting yourself first, you're not. There's a need for you to put yourself like number one. And I know that it's easier said than done, and we can't do that all the time. There are many times that, because there are people that rely on us, partners, children, parents, family, friends that rely on us, and so we can't always put ourselves first. But we need to be more aware of where, or you need to be more aware of, I'm saying me also, need to be more aware of when and how much, and are there times where you could be putting yourself first and you're deciding to distract yourself with somebody else's, caring about what somebody else has got going on. Okay? The Empress is always, for me, always brings such like a quick, like, I feel like she never goes, like, she doesn't have to say that much to get her message across. It's a very like powerful, straight up message. You're not taking care of yourself enough. You're not prioritizing yourself enough. And Aquarius is really good at that. Or they should be. Sometimes to an annoying fault, because then you're like, hey, aren't we gonna hang out? Like, well, I gotta prioritize myself. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else coming off of her, and there is not. Yeah. Take better care of yourself. More care. Here in the northern hemisphere, we're still in winter, so give yourself a break. Stop trying to do so much. Make a list of the things you have gotten done in the last month, and maybe that will make you realize that you already have done so much, and that there's only a couple days left. Well, if you're watching this, I'm recording this, on the 28th? So, February is a short month, and then spring starts in March. So when the universe is saying take some time to care about yourself, you take your time to care about yourself, okay? And that it's okay. It's okay to let some things go. It's okay to let some people walk away. It's okay for you to want to walk away from some people. And you're going to work on... You're going to work on these steps to get you moving forward after this. Give yourself some time. There's some, like, detail work that needs to be done here. So if there's some, like, back-end stuff in your life that you haven't been, like, handling, if you gotta redo the budget for the year, you know, there's that pile of mail that needs to be gone through, taxes are coming, like, it's a good time to really focus on some, I don't want to say like minute or fine details, because that's not really what it's about. It's kind of like looming things. You need to, like, take care of them so they're, like, off of you and not bothering you anymore, not getting to you. Okay, I said ooh because we got the Patience card in reverse. And the Patience card is perfect, I feel like, for what we've been talking about. Like, there's not a lot of quickness moving here, and that's okay. Okay, so, and we got it in reverse. It's number 16. Patience, peaceful presence, letting go of desperation. Ooh, I need that. Reversed. Peaceful redirection is the message when this card is reversed. Peaceful redirection. Open up to the options available to you, even if they aren't yet totally clear. The universe supports you when you allow its influence to help direct your income. Excuse me. The universe supports you when you allow its influence to help direct your outcomes and when you open your imagination to all of the potential solutions around you. The key is to keep moving forward without frantic need or urgency. Don't give up on your goal. Initiation and renewed action are needed now. So keep an open eye to new and unexpected opportunities around you. You may be surprised by where they lead. I really needed this right now, y'all. This Mercury retrograde has not been my friend. We had another loss in my family, and we just can't take much more, and it was so hard to get here today, even though I was like, either you're gonna do it or you're gonna sit here and just, like, internally kill myself, or, sorry for the phrasing, for not doing it. I would just sit there and obsess over it. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And I hope it's benefiting you, because it's really benefiting me right now. The affirmation. I pursue my goals with open receptivity. I am patient and flexible, willing to receive in many surprising and imaginative ways. I pursue my goals with open receptivity. I am patient and flexible, willing to receive in many surprising and imaginative ways. Can't say that one fast. Imaginative. Imaginative. Very good. This is very good, y'all. So, take some time. Be with yourself. Be with your home. Be at home. Be with the family. Everyone's got, like, I don't know anybody who doesn't have a pile somewhere in their house that needs to be gone through if you absolutely have to, like, do something like that. It's a good time for that, too. Keep breathing. Mercury will be direct soon. Cool. Thank you so much for being here. Please make sure you go watch the general energy for Aquarius season with the star card reading. I am working on trying to get tarot scopes done, but like I said, we just had a death in the family, so things have been a little crazy. So thank you so much. Please be sure to like and subscribe, share with a friend. Please join my mailing list, and that way you can get all the updates before the internet. And I will see you next time.